Up Highway 105, Cleveland still has that old small town charm. But a few miles outside the city limits, a new land rush has created an unincorporated boomtown.
This is the main drag of Colony Ridge community.
This is Liberty County Precinct 6 Constable Zach Harkness's jurisdiction. Colony Ridge, a name that's become synonymous with illegal immigration, a lightning rod for conservative criticism.
Apparently, it has become basically a giant settlement spot for illegal immigrants.
The experts warn it invites cartel activity.
You import the third world. You end up becoming more third world.
Many of the roughly 50,000 who live here are skilled day laborers.
They could be working in Beaumont. This is no man's land right now. This is all the stuff that's going to happen.
Harkness says it's safe here, aside from a juvenile gang issue that's now on their radar. But he notes the visible presence of law enforcement. But those who live here say there are a lot of misconceptions about Colony Ridge. Right there is the community center. It's located right next to a splash pad that gets very busy during the summertime. Over there is a new elementary school. It's part of the Cleveland ISD. And behind here are new homes that look like they can be part of any other Houston suburb.
So you feel this is a safer option than the city of Houston?
Oh, absolutely.
Cynthia Silva lives in Colony Ridge and writes for the area's online Spanish newspaper.
There was a lot of backlash from people out in Plum Grove or Cleveland or Splendora to where it was a culture shock for them. They just weren't ready.
So we have to address the illegal immigration controversy. I'm sure you're asked about it all the time.
John Harris, the CEO of Colony Ridge, sat down with us.
Is it accurate to say that most residents in Colony Ridge are undocumented?
No, that's just not true. If they borrow money from us, 77% have either a social security number or a tax ID number. And we don't ask. That's the real reason we never know the actual number, because we're not allowed to ask. It's illegal for us to ask.
Colony Ridge started with 500 acres 13 years ago. Now it's the size of Washington, D.C.
Over time, your development became controversial. It became a political issue, right?
Sure.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis posted, "I will end this." Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton alerted Congress, saying it's distressing neighboring cities and school districts.
It's been getting increasingly worse. It's dangerous. You've got apparently businesses there who are more than willing to take advantage of those who come here illegally, charge them high interest rates, and they're making a killing off of it.
Colony Ridge became such a hot-button issue, it was put under the microscope in the Texas legislature's third special session. The head of DPS, Colonel Steve McCraw, testified Colony Ridge is not a cartel hotbed.
The bottom line is that we got really more of a growth problem and limited law enforcement resources as opposed to a crime problem.
And the governor got backed into a corner. He responds to the people of Texas, and the news was so crazy that the people of Texas were screaming at him.
Harris's brother and business partner Trey has donated more than $1 million to Governor Greg Abbott.
I've never met him, and
You've never met him?
I've never met the governor.
In December, you started taking fire from the left. The Biden DOJ filed a lawsuit against your company
for operating an illegal land sales scheme and targeting tens of thousands of Hispanic borrowers with false statements and predatory loans.
It doesn't make sense that I start a 20-year relationship with my customers when they sign loan documents by tricking them. This is a partnership. It's not a fight. I provide something for them, they give me money for that. And a guy that crosses the border, I can't make any money from a guy that doesn't have any money.
As for the disorder at the border, Harris has an opinion.
We have to have strong borders.
But he knows Colony Ridge will continue to invoke strong opinions. This is the ending of a chase last month. The car, stolen in Port Arthur, passed Vider police on I-10 at 120 miles an hour. The wild pursuit about to get even wilder, ending in Calcasieu Parish. They fire at the Vider officer. He returns fire as they run. No one was hit. Last year in Port Neches, this never-before-seen body cam footage shows a 21-year-old wanted on a warrant trying to run in a stolen car. He crashes into police. Gets out with a handgun. Officers pull their triggers. The weapon isn't always a gun. A 35-year-old man wielding a machete didn't obey the commands of a Port Arthur officer in 2018. The confrontation deadly.
Drop it! Drop it!
There's danger lurking around every corner.
Officer Matt Morrow heads Beaumont PD's training division.
Ambushes against officers have gone up like tenfold in the last 5-6 years.
Law enforcement is an inherently dangerous job. Training can mean the difference between life and death.
I'm a use of force expert. I look at cases all across the country and certainly all across the state of Texas, and I would put our agency up against anyone in the state as far as being the best trained.
You are responding to a report of an active shooting at a local high school.
This is a high-def interactive video use of force simulator called Milo, short for Multiple Interactive Learning Objectives.
Right? Don't be distracted by that. You got a rear guard.
The dynamics can change in real time on how you react.
Okay, one of you guys is down.
Officers are then graded on de-escalation, communication, and their aim.
Every sworn person in this agency has to do it, including the chief.
These encounters all boil down to split-second decisions.
Go ahead and step out for me.
This traffic stop in August in Cameron Parish becomes anything but routine.
Do you have any weapons in the vehicle?
The 34-year-old from Jacksonville in East Texas hits the gas. A chase is on. The driver shoots at other responding law enforcement.
Yes, I just took fire.
This is where training pays off.
Let's all for PD, you know. He's shooting at anything with lights.
Bullets are flying, adrenaline rushing. Suddenly, the driver crashes. A state trooper aims and in seconds dodges danger.
Gunfight, gunfight, gunfight!
The trooper returns fire. The driver turns the gun on himself. The threat is over as quickly as it began.
The average length of an officer-involved shooting in this country from beginning to end is 11 seconds. It'll take you almost 9/10 of a second to react to that threat, and even at that pace, you're probably going to lose. You have about 8/10 of a second to make your decision.
An officer-involved shooting is rare in Beaumont. The department averages less than one a year. But Morrow knows those who've never worn a badge, carried a gun, or served and protected are often the first to do some Monday morning quarterback.
Well, I think outside of professional referees or umpires, we're probably the most second-guessed occupation on the planet.
Second-guessed, often with only one chance to get it right.
A 23-year-old woman escaped from a trailer home fire Wednesday just north of Nederland and suffered smoke inhalation. This Acadian ambulance crew traveled 5 miles to treat her and then take her to the hospital.
There is an ambulance that is dedicated to the Mid-County community, stationed, centrally stationed at the Port Neches Fire Department, and it is available 24 hours to respond to calls here in the Mid-County area.
The ambulance responds to emergencies in Port Neches, Groves, and Nederland.
There is a dedicated unit to Mid-County, but I don't want anybody to worry about if they're on the other side of Groves or the other side of Nederland, that there'll be an extended response time, because if there's a closer unit, the provider will send that closer unit.
The 3 Mid-County cities have public-private partnerships with Acadian. Port Arthur city leaders have questioned response times. One family believes it led to the death of a loved one, but the Port Neches, Groves, and Nederland fire chiefs came together this week to reassure citizens about Acadian EMS response times.
We do have a good partnership with Acadian. I feel like our current response times are more than sufficient to meet our community needs.
We feel very comfortable with the level of services that's being provided here, and we want to assure the Mid-County community and your viewers that that all of the stakeholders, especially those of us that represent the Mid-County municipalities, are keen to ensuring that the quality is of the level, of the high level that's deserved.
Groves Fire Chief Lance Bio says he trusts Acadian with his parents' care.
They're aging, so I've had to call for them a couple of times, and the responses have been good for them.
The chiefs say there have been times when Acadian has reported level 0 status.
They can't necessarily meet that 9-minute response time to be on scene, in our city ordinance. But that doesn't mean there's not help coming. There's units on the way.
Firefighters in all 3 cities are usually the first line of defense.
Our firefighters roll to that call as well, oftentimes arriving first and initializing the care while the EMS ambulance unit arrives.
Chief Morton says these firefighters serve as quality control.
To monitor the private EMS service that is permitted in the city, and to monitor their performance level and make sure that they're doing things right.
Port Arthur has hired City Ambulance as a second EMS service. It's an option the 3 mid-county chiefs would consider, but say no company has reached out yet.
Currently, right now, we have no immediate plans to bring in another provider. But on the other hand, we haven't had any companies reach out to us and apply for to work in our area. So we're not opposed to a second service coming in.
In Mid-County, I'm Angel San Juan reporting.
December 22nd, 2023 is a day that Michelle Lawrence will never forget. It was the day she lost her son, Nathan Reed, in a car accident. Before she knew what happened, she'd reported him missing.
I can honestly say that I knew before I ever got to the police station that something was wrong with my son.
A mother remembers all the days with her son.
He was a handful at birth. I was in labor with him for 49 hours, so I knew.
Lawrence watched her son grow, play baseball, join the Navy, but it was fatherhood that transformed her son.
Him becoming a father made me so very proud of him, because it changed his life and made him a better person.
Reed had a total of 7 kids, 3 of his own, while being a stepfather to 4 others.
They miss him. They miss him a lot.
Lawrence gives credit to Reed's friends for helping her get through this tough time.
They've been a very big help to all of us. I don't think I'd be able to hold on like I'm doing and as strong as I've been without all of them.
Everyone had to step up for Reed the evening of December 22nd. She was called to the scene where his truck was found nose down in the Nature's River off of Four Oaks Ranch Road, his body inside.
We saw it when it was coming out of the water. And we knew.
In 2004.
That left Lawrence and her family searching for answers.
Just wanted to see what possibly could have happened. There was no skid marks, no brake marks, nothing.
Lawrence is left leaning on her family and her faith, but she will always have the memories of her son, smiling, laughing, dancing, becoming the man she always knew he would be.